try to focus on that. Let me just lower it so we can like talk while I'm also doing the work. So what he shared today is, it seems yesterday he was traveling and he has a lot of kids. You saw, like, he's raising them. He will raise them like in India, olden ages, right? He's bringing it back, the culture. So he says people were murdered, raped as a gang when both Muslim invasion happened, Christian invasion happened, and we were split. So now he's trying to recollect everybody, so that he can build. And he says the until the 21 years of age, if we give them a good grooming for the kids, he says they would have a good outcome in their life. So his goal is to raise the kids.
Right.
So he says, bring them to us, we will give you free education. He says Christian way of teaching or the Western way is they teach us something that's not practical.
Right.
And he says those are what you need to not learn, because that programs you into a
Like
way to live,
It does really.
because you are following somebody else's agenda. Instead, if you raise them, giving them like opportunities how to be very good at everything. He says, if my children are shown a title of the book, just by getting into that energy and the title of that person, they will get a gist of what the book is about. He says his kids, actually their IQ is so high, they are able to read. You have seen third eye powers and stuff, right? So they are advanced beyond, actually some of the kids even tracked the Malaysian air flight that went down, and they gave the latitude, longitude. So he says, what I'm teaching, nobody can teach. So today his purpose was to teach what, he's saying everything falls into physics, chemistry, biology. That's all. He says physics of Guru. Guru is the guy who's the source of the knowledge. Disciple is me. So people who learn. Like right now, I am the teacher, you are the learner. And then you're gonna go share that, and then you become the teacher. So he says ability. So the way, so if I'm gonna put everything in a nutshell, and also my previous teacher said this. He says if you understand it so well, you will simplify it so small. That's the sweet of knowledge, and that's what he says. Truth is sweet. So the vast experience I have heard, all the teaching, the gist of what he said was how to kill inner demons. Okay, it's actually a video. You go watch. That's a very nice video he did called "How to Kill Inner Demons," and essentially it comes down to how do you listen to yourself and others, and how to become a leader, and how to achieve goal for you and others. That's all. Okay, only three things. Okay, and even in that,
simple.
and even in that, how do you listen to yourself and others? Like listening has to start inside by stopping talking to yourself. Because talking happens between vocal cords and navel, and constantly you're chattering inside. Just think of yourself as a bamboo, and it's hollow inside. You just breathe in and out and watch, and then you will know who you are. And he says, if you don't, not even meditation is, he says you don't even need to do anything. He actually asked us to get a counter. I went and bought it. And just whenever a thinking arises, push a button and take a deep breath. The reason is he says we try to engage with the thinking by saying, when did I feel that? When did I hear that? So you develop a relationship. He says, cut off the relationship. He says it's your past. Past is to tell you it's your past. So he says, so by focusing on that, you're preventing the future. Future is about desire, taking too many breaths and not exhaling. So he says both has to stop. Future has to stop, past has to stop. But you need to live in the present. For that, you just need to take a deep breath. When you take a deep breath, you know who you are. And you will enter. So that is about inner listening. When you listen inside, then you would be better at listening outside. Like you can talk to people and really hear what they are saying. What they are saying is different from what they are really talking about. So once you hear what they are saying, he says when they finish talking, you gather what they said and then talk to that listening. Meaning, like he says, by understanding where they are, you will talk at that level to create some sort of a harmony. So you don't want to, you like, let's say we have a discord, right? Like today, before you, there was another patient, and I was talking, and he said he had a big fight with his daughter. He's babysitting with her, and like it's like so annoying. She expects some more money from him. That's the gist of what he was saying, you know. And I was telling him it's not about anybody else. It's inside. You feel she's not grateful. That's the first place he is only. Because see, the whole world is about memory of them we hold inside. Okay, when they come across, you open that door and you relate to them, and already so much dialogue has gone on inside, and they don't even know. They are like walking into this time bomb, you know. So that's the way I think. Like, you know, I always like play it out in my mind.
Has to do with not letting go of the past.
Yes,
Living in the
that's only because of my teacher, like, you know, how he's training me. And an interesting thing that also happened was my niece like constantly interrupting when I'm listening to him, and I'm telling her I'm with my teacher, and she says she wants money for her daughter. But I'm saying it's rude to interrupt people when you tell them that I am busy. So I decided, okay, instead of neglecting what she wants of me, I asked her to join my meditation. So I sent her an invite because this is like another way, healthy way to incorporate them. So finally, she and my dad joined, you know. So like instead of interrupting me, they joined. But when I post this, I'll tag this with them. But it's very interesting, like, you know, how we like, you know, I'm gonna stop this. I think somebody else's video I'm watching, and I don't need that.
I feel that they can do that.
But anyway, so very interesting thing that happened, right? So then afterwards, I'm listening to him, and what he was saying, essentially, like how I was saying about, like, you know, so when you listen to people, like I was listening to him, and I'm not really getting in his own agenda, in his daughter's agenda. He was saying how hurt he was. And I was telling him the reason you're hurt, he himself said, if she had not been so mean and yelling and screaming, I would have done that for her. And I decided not to be. Already she's ungrateful. I said, first, I said, when you are hearing from that space that you're hurt inside, right? You're going to get activated. So I listen to him. So I'm engaging with him and I'm not discrediting or crediting. And I said, I use Positive Anonymous 12 step program. Okay. In the Positive Anonymous 12 step and AA, they have a saying called detachment. Have you heard about that? So that's exactly what the word we are going to use, detach, which means you're not supporting, like in you usually Alcoholic Anonymous, they say when they are drinking, should I bring him to the hospital? Should I get him? You don't get in on his agenda. At the same time, you're not giving him money to drink. Okay, right. That's what detachment they use for. But in Positive Anonymous, we are going to use it in a spiritual way because it's about wholesome behavior. You know, how do you become better? Because Positive Anonymous is about power of living. Because everything Anonymous is about is powerlessness. So powerlessness is fine. You know, that's step one. You need to accept, yes, I'm powerless. Right. But step two, you have to become powerful. Yeah. So how do you get to the power? Yeah. So that's why he's my spiritual sponsor. My teacher is my spiritual sponsor. So I use his words to develop Positive Anonymous programs because the unwholesome behavior was given by the previous teacher who said unwholesome is even demons. Entities that manipulate you is unwholesome because they are making our body to act out what they want. Okay, whether it's a human being or thoughts, or it doesn't matter. So unwholesome is all that captured in one word, and it all boils down to behavior. Once you correct your behavior, when you're in your good act, nobody can trigger you. Okay, so Positive Anonymous again is simplified truth of age and wisdom, and we attract rather than promote. You know, so like it's my teacher calls it we own, not possess. Like, you know, you own something. Right. You when you own something, you honor it. Meaning our body, we own it for now, but we don't possess it. So it made it so easy. So when you come back to that listening, right? So I was telling him, it's not because you don't want to help her. What I'm hearing is you are willing to help her. So why don't you buy time? You know, you just say, hey, you know what? In Germany, there is a way they apologize. It seems I was just watching this guy, Harold Cox. So he was saying in Germany what they say for apology is I I suffer because I am the cause of your pain. That's their apology. And I thought, wow, I love the way they said it, you know. So it's not exactly I'm sorry, because sorry
Right.
means it's meaningless, right?
It is meaningless.
So I suffer, which is true. I suffer inside because I am cause of your pain.
Right.
But whether I want to take responsibility or not is immaterial.
Right.
So I told him, use that word. I said, this way you can say, buy time, I'll buy time. I said, I'm activated now. Let me readdress it tomorrow. And let's figure out some, so like, I don't think the relationship would be ruined by 24-hour breathing space,
Right.
but by the time your bits will be together and you will see, okay, are
That's the
you
thing.
are you half responsible for this issue? Because I asked him what was the issue was. He says she lost the money because of him, but he had no idea she's going to lose money, and up to $500 she lost because of some, I don't know whether they went for gambling or whatever it is. So she feels she cannot afford it. She's a single parent and he has to pay her. So like whether he's
Which he
coming
would
up
do
with
anything
half half
for,
or
but
like
it's
like
really
what I'm saying is that whether
right.
does he want to take ownership, not take ownership, like or can he like bargain with her for babysitting, like so like can he pay it in kind, like he has to derive. He didn't want to disclose what it was, the details, and I decided not to engage with him that way. But this is what talking to their listening is, which means I am talking but not my views, but instead to his problem in a way that makes sense to him, right? So then that allows me to create a shift in his thinking and to become his leader, right? At that moment. And by doing that, he will lead his daughter, and that shift will keep continued
Right,
like a
yeah,
domino,
right.
and achieving peace and goal.
That's the only way to
That's
do it.
that's the only thing we can do. But if we don't do it in this way, we get annoyed. He gets annoyed. I didn't listen to him. This is where I was at. So I was finishing that, and then when you came along, when we were doing satsang, I really love even a little bit he shares, because even that is so precious. So that's
Right,
why
right.
even him, I made him watch it.
It's not.
So I
It's
made
not
him
to
watch
find
because
somebody that teaches that kind of stuff.
yeah, and he stays awake 24 hours a day. And so he will put together some space where we can all gather. And so what he said is the essence of his teaching today is he says there are only three things in teaching. It is physics of the relationship, chemistry of the relationship, and biology of the relationship. And this is the whole way the human system is built. The universe is built. Biology of a relationship is geography. He says rivers,
Right.
streams, all these are biology of the earth. For the human beings, it's the body itself is biology. And he says how we engage with each other, that relationship is the biology. Like you engage with their wife because you want. Actually, my first patient, he has a child and he's not married. I said, is that not important to you? He said, no. He says marriage is not important. And interestingly, my teacher says the same thing. He says marriage is about divorce, not about engagement. And he says,
Kind
when
of
you're
think the
in
same
love,
thing
there is no
too.
condition.
That's
And I was thinking that's so sweet. I never even thought of it that way. And I was thinking,
that's how
would I have done more raising my kids and giving birth? No way. If my husband has said he's not going to marry me, I would have
Right.
walked away.
Right.
But would I do it again if I'm now? Yes, of course I would stay with him. I don't need a marriage. But it took me this
But
long to
you
get
look at
here.
it a different way now.
That's because I raised myself to come to this space. But if I had the same intelligence I had then, I would still demand marriage. So like it's not right or wrong. It's like
Yeah, it's
my
just,
space
that's
where I
your
was
views
holding. Like I was holding that view 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and that time like out of wedlock,
Yeah.
the child is like unheard of.
It
I
is,
mean
it
like
is.
I'm not saying unheard of, but like
Well,
it's not
even nowadays,
encouraged.
you really shouldn't. You should be married before you have a child, and that's how it should be. But nowadays, a lot of people don't look at that stuff.
So I finished the biology. The physics of relationship is just, he says, holding a space so we listen to each other. Like he calls it breathing space. The breathing space, he says, unless physically we are there, we cannot, because there are so many things we say without even saying, like rolling the eyes, like huffing and puffing. And that transmits also. So that's why I love texting sometimes. People don't
You
get
can't,
you.
yeah, because you can't understand the context of it.
So sometimes I want to be spared of all this huff and puff and stuff. But so
Everybody
that's
does.
a physics of relationship. But he says in the end, the chemistry is what matters. Chemistry is what holds us together, and chemistry does not need to be in a physical, intimate space. He
Right.
says you can love somebody
Mhm.
no matter where you're sitting, and he says in chemistry only two things apply. You develop your very depth of understanding about the situation, about the person, or about you and your relationship. And then from there, make a choice and lead the situation, or have the other person lead you. Chemistry is about being led or being a leader. And he says that's the bottom line. And that's the whole gist of the relationship.
And
And
a lot of the stuff's not taught anymore, so people don't understand it.
so he teaches it in such a way. I put it as like it almost feels like a juice, you know. So essentially, juice was
Yeah.
like he calls it essence. Is it be a leader or be led? That's like essence. So he will ask us to regroup ourselves, discuss between us what we learned, and correct each other. Sometimes something evolves out of that too, that concept. And today actually is 11th day of lunar cycle. Today when the mind center, it this is the way I'm going to explain so you would understand. If you think mind center is a drawer and we are the owners, the mind center always goes up and down, okay, and it homes itself near the heart on new moon day, and near the brain center on full moon day. So if you do not keep it under control today, whatever we eat and whatever we have project working on, in 72 hours it will get bigger and bigger and bigger and it will explode. So the space you hold today, if you put a reset button, do the easy button, reset, and not think, full moon wouldn't be activating for you. That's the way to think. And the interesting thing happened, right? This video, watch it if you can. And let me bring up the video because I recorded it. So this is 14 minutes and 3 seconds. Okay, this is the video. Herald calls all things that went wrong need to be rediscovered and addressed at the 14 minutes. And I'm going to play 14 minutes and 3 seconds. Okay.
Side of the god. And they still were in contact. This is all in the Kabbalistic tradition. You can read these details.
Oh, it's actually before
engraved script. If you look into the Pandora's box myth, what you get is basically amphora made out of clay. This is the closest translation of the original Greek language. That was put in a box out of the same type of wood with exactly the same length and width and height like the Ark of the Covenant. And also the other things of the myth are kind of similar. If you look to the Christian part, you have Adam and Eve, and hardly anyone knows of the true background story of this. Adam had a first wife, Lilith, and actually it was a kind of evil intent by Satan, because Satan realized that
I'm going to stop it here. So Adam had a first wife. So this is in 13.12, okay? So he's dissatisfied with his marriage, so he sends her away. So there is a catfish called Eve, which is manipulated by the serpent. So the serpent is the catfish, and Eve is the fake profile, if you think of it that way. So Adam gets enamored by this girl, and he goes and eats the apple. And there is another saint in India, Osho, O-S-H-O. Go and watch his take on drugs, about drugs. He says prohibition creates that urge. He says there was a whole forest. For some reason, that tree was portrayed as prohibited, and that's why the apple was eaten. And he says that's a trick.
It's when you told you can't.
Yes. So he says, so that is the second piece that fell in, right? So now today, actually, the reason I do this on the 11th day is my teacher. There is an ascended teacher. I'm trying to say I'm getting late. So the ascended teacher is called Parama Guru, which is like how my sacred guru here in cosmic consciousness, I have a teacher.
Yeah.
And that teacher tells me my purpose is to create sweet memories and to reset my thinking every 11th day. That's the bond I made with them, meaning like my high beings. Because I
Right.
think by doing that, I can maintain the sweetness in me. So they each 11th day of lunar cycle, you would actually reset it for a specific reason, the mind center.
'Cause
And this is
you're allowing yourself that.
no,
more
read it,
to-
okay? So here, so this is March 27th, today, right? Why do we reset it? So this is the story. He says, this is Gandharva is like fantasy land, okay? One time in the court of King Pundarika, many Gandharvas engaged in blissful singing and activity. Lalit, who's Adam, okay? Because Lalit is used for male in this context. Lalita is female.
Yeah.
Like how he said, Lalit sang with the Gandharvas, though his wife did not. She would rather dance. And because of that, due to pangs of separation, he was experiencing separation and he felt increased hankering and dove into tears. And so he forgot his words. And then one serpent from the patala, the reason is when you become grave and depressed, you go under. Whereas when you are joyful, you go up. Okay, so if you think of it in that way, it'll make sense. So a serpent went and complained in, you have spoiled your performance with attachment to your wife, and so you disrupt the rhythm. Therefore, I curse you to be a man-eater cannibal. Okay, so he becomes demon at that point. But this is one way. But he ate the apple, okay, which was forbidden. Okay, here cannibalism is another forbidden. Like maybe he became meat eater. Who knows?
Right.
But let's assume like he had a unfaithful relationship, adultery. So then he becomes, by this curse, Lalit became a demon. Okay, so his sweetness was gone, and we looked at his wife with ferociousness, which means when you're unfaithful, you're so harsh towards your wife. Okay, this is what happens. So this is where the distinction between love and lust happens. He was lustful, meaning like he came from a place of conditional love.
Yep.
You do this to me and I love you. Instead, she became unconditional. So she goes back and she had no understanding, this girl, the wife. So she was lost in a separation, and with all embarrassment, surrendering all embarrassment, she lived with her husband in the forest. So she became very humble. She started living with him. And once when she was wandering, she saw a saint and she says, please tell me what to do to release this curse so I can transfer this blessing to my husband.
Okay.
So that is love. You understand? So
Right.
she loved him enough to forgive him, do what is needed for him for his recovery. Let's assume he became a drug addict. So that's another possibility. You know, so
I
she,
didn't know that.
so then today she resets herself. Because of that, he recovers. And so it's like almost like somebody believes in you before you believe in
That's
yourself.
right.
And so then so please get rid of the hatred. And now he's a demon, and please make me remove this affliction. So he says, O daughter, during the waxing moon of Chaitra month, which is this Lent month, he says, this Ekadasi, which is 11th day, by observing one's sinful reactions, but following the vow, your husband will become freed from the curse, which means today be conscious of what you eat so you don't get activated. So when he yells at you on full moon, you're going to come from the place of love, and you're not going to get involved with the negative relationship, and you're going to grow the good relationship. So it's like almost like Easter, resurrection, right?
Right.
It's the way you reset your life today. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Yeah.
So I actually, this whole every 11th day some secret truth will come into my place, because every week, every month when I watch where I'm at, last actually 11th day I slipped and I ate meat. so like I not even this is like high level of offense I committed. But maybe God was okay. I had an omelet that day. I'm like saying, oh my God, I had learned. But actually, but the thing is, God was so kind. So every 11th day, my agenda would be given to me, how I need to live for another, through
Right.
this course. So now I know, okay, so today's agenda is to watch me so that I'm not activated by what people dish out at me, because people are going to be activated. And that's going to be my theme for another month or so. But or maybe half a month, I don't know. But I get very manic in full moon. My artistic ability will be flowing. And I'll start doing
I
more.
feel different when there's a full moon.
Yeah. Whereas new moon, I'm more calm. So the full moon, I'm all my juices are flowing, and this week probably I'll be planting, I'll be farming, I'll be cleaning, and so I wanted to share that space with you. Does it make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
What is your agenda going to be? Where are you going to
Well, I'm
lead?
gonna look that book up first off.
Which one? The Positive
Yeah, I
Banana?
wanna look
Okay,
it up.
take a picture. It's ISBN. So go to the library, ask them order it for you.
Library will have it. 'Cause,
In
I'm gonna
Nook,
go
it
to
is only
Barnes
$5.
and Noble.
Oh, Barnes and Noble will have.
They'll
Do
probably
you
have
have Nook? You can
I
download it.
I can download it.
Yeah. So just look for Positive Banana stuff.
Yeah.
You'll be
I
able
know
to
the name
download.
of it, so I'll download it.
It's
on
$5, $4.99.
there. Yeah,
$4.
it's so much, but I want to read it.
It's
I'm interested
you know
in
what
it,
it is. People usually say I'm anonymous, and they'll put a nice quote. So I decided positive anonymous. All these people.
My dad always told me reading is food for the brain,
Mhm.
So.
And then the 12th step, I wrote to them. Everybody gets a label. I'm alcoholic, and they never get off the label. So I wrote to AA. I said, hey, I want to rewrite it because my husband is in recovery, and I'm a positive thinker by Norman Vincent Peale. I said that was a perfect marriage.
Right, yeah.
So my previous teacher gave me unwholesome, and my current teacher gave me power of living. So the book is simplified version of my life. The only thing I changed is only the first one. God, we were admitted powerless of unwholesome behavior. Our lives became unmanageable. God is my teacher. Whoever gives me the right wisdom,
That's how I do it.
even if God appears, I would rather listen to my teacher because I know him
Yeah, yeah.
than the unknown God.
Oh my God. Am I all set?
Yeah, I love you.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you.
See you next week.
You are awesome. You know that. You are a great dad. I'm
gonna
proud of
try-
you.
I'm gonna try to do my best, So
You are.
I can only think positive,
Yes.
Positive thoughts.
Powerful
don't
thought.
forget-
See, my teacher says no, don't think positive because then there is negative.
Well,
Don't do dual. He says
Okay.
instead power-filled thinking. He says not even thinking. He says power-filled understanding. Because once you understand,
That's
thinking will shift.
it.
Power-filled thinking.
Yeah, so I'm going to Bridge Street.
Yes.